Ek is nou in op die stream en ek het hierso record. Okay, so one of the big things is what I want to do, and welcome to the people watching the stream. And the topic today is using your time wisely. So what I would like to discuss here is with the interaction with working with our team. One of the things that I've learned that they say time is money. What do you think about that saying? How would you look at time?
It's valuable.
For me, exactly. Well, now, time is valuable. Now, let me explain to you what I'm talking about. Time is valuable. Let's say, for instance, you work for a brick and mortar real estate company. All what you're basically doing is you come in, you phone, you chase leads, you link to an area, and at the end of the day, you're just coming in from 8 to 5, trying to make ends meet, but not growing yourself. Because what you're basically doing is you're actually selling your time for an income. So your time doesn't become valuable. What happens when your time runs out?
It's a wasted day.
You're dead.
Mm.
So if you're not going to use your time to enjoy your life, how are you going to grow? So let me rephrase. And this is what I've learned, and I had the discussion with my son because he wants to sort out his taxes. And we had a bit of a discussion. And he says, I can make money. Yeah, you can make money. But there's a problem. Yeah, are you going to make money if you get old? Because what you're doing is you're spending your time to do the fun things in life and have an easy life. Where we're sitting at our pension time, we're working hard to have an easy life. But if we were young, I just want to minimize my sound. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
So if we have an easy life when we're young, we're going to have a hard life. But if we work hard and smart when we're young, we can have an easy life when we're old.
Mm. And invest.
So, okay, so we'll get into the investment portion now. So everybody wants to become a millionaire or create wealth. Okay, how are you going to do that in the real estate game?
You sell properties.
Okay,
Lots and lots of them.
you're gonna sell properties. Explain to me, you got that property that you're selling, because what you're doing is you're chasing those buyers the whole time. You're chasing those sellers to cover cost, but you're not growing.
Yeah. I think we must think wider, Ron. There's always opportunities in interacting with anybody. And we've got to be aware of it and see where we can fill.
No, correct. Well, and that's one of the key things that you said is, how do we find each other's strengths and leverage each other's strengths to make a living? Or let me rephrase. How can we help each other's strengths and leverage to become wealthy?
Mm-hmm.
Which one are you prepared to do? The big problem that we've got in the real estate game, and I'm just talking about in general, I'm not talking about the EXP, I'm just talking about in general, We're chasing the mandates, and we're chasing the buyers. What if we change that around, that the mandate chases us and the buyers chases us?
That could save a lot of time.
You can save a lot of time.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? And I'm going to go back into that now. So one of the big things is what I've figured out. If you want to have a million rand in your bank account, okay? Or let's say rephrase. Let's say, for instance, you want to have a million rand in your bank account, and you're going to save on a monthly basis, and you've only got 100 rand to save every month. How long will it take you to have a million rand in your bank account?
Much longer than a year.
Well, let me rephrase it. 833 years.
Sure.
Okay, but let's put an extra note on it. It's going to take 83 years.
Ish.
Okay.
Don't think I'm going to make that one.
Okay, what if you put another 10 years on, it's going to make 8.3 years. Okay, so how many of us can earn 10,000 rand a month to put 10,000 rand away to have a million rand in your bank account?
Everything's possible if you know what you're doing.
Okay, but let's rework it. So if you win a lotto of a million rand and you invest it at 6%, okay, that will give you then a plus minus 5,000 rand a month, which then gives you a passive income because you've got a million rand that are working for you. Does it make sense?
Mm.
Because most of us looking at the million rand, so we want to save, but your money is not working for us because the money is dead.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the main things is what I've learned on this model, what I'm speaking about, is, and I learned this from a guy by the name of Marion Golden. He's an African gentleman, and he shows the principles. And what he said, you have to have a continuity program. And what does continuity means?
Continuous.
How do you create a passive income? Okay. Now, if you look at the brick and mortar companies, and this is an example, I want to earn 100,000 rand a month. Now, if I work for the brick and mortar company and I sell 1 million rand sell a 1 million rand property at 5%, I'm going to earn 50,000 rand. Do you agree with me?
Mm.
Because a brick and mortar company is going to take the other 50%.
Yeah. And they don't want to share commission, that's why.
Okay, forget about the sharing. I'm just talking in general. Okay. Now, the problem that we face, if I want to earn 100,000 rand a month, I have to sell 2 million to make 100,000. So I have to use my time twice as hard to earn 100,000 rand. Because we're not valuing our time. Now, let's say, for instance, let's go back by just selling one property at 100,000 at 50%. We're going to earn, sorry, yeah, it's 50,000. Yeah, so I'm going to earn 5% on a million rand, 50,000 rand. So it means I'm going to get 25,000 rand out of the deal. So I have to sell 4 million rands for the property to earn 100,000 rand. Does that make sense? But now you still have to pay taxes on that. You still pay your running expenses. What have you got to save to earn R1 million into your bank account after you've looked at working with your time? So at the end of the day, we're chasing money instead of chasing a lifestyle.
Mm.
So that's why I looked at the EXP model, which has got a continuity program built into it. So now let's look at it in another sense. As we know, in the EXP model, bond origination, any third-party tools outside of EXP, I can earn 100% income. Do you agree with me? All right. So let's say, for instance, I can work with one buyer a day and I pre-qualify that one buyer for R1 million bond at 0.5%. I've earned 5,000 Rand. Do you agree with me?
Mhm.
Which means I've got now 20 buyers for the month. 20 times 5, what have I got? 100,000 Rand. Did I sell any properties?
No. Not
Okay.
necessarily.
Not necessarily. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the argument we're going to have is where you're going to find a buyer a month, a buyer a day. Well, everybody on your cell phone is a buyer. Everybody on your Facebook page, your friends, your LinkedIn page, your Instagram page, the people you meet on a daily basis, your friends, each of them are buyers. Or they might even be sellers. But that I'm going to discuss that on a later stage. But that's a problem. It'll be a nice way to get a buyer a day. But let's be realistic. All I want is one buyer to be pre-qualified a week. That's 5,000 a week. That gives me 20,000 Rand a month.
Hmm.
How much money, how much effort did I put into that compared to get a mandate?
Not a lot. Ron, just a question on that. Is that only if that pre-qualified buyer does buy a property and then buys through the bond originator with which you've got there?
So, yeah, so 100%. If you look after your client, and that's why it's very important, and we can do that on another episode. You have to look after your client that you can have a passive income through that one buyer and one seller. I'm just talking in general by using the continuity methodology in generating income. Now, out of those 4 buyers, you sell one property with EXP of R1 million at 71%. Now you've generated 71,000, what's it, 5% on R1 million, you earned 35,000 Rand on the deal. I'm just using that as an example. Because if it's a R1 million Rand property at 5% is 50,000. 71% on that is, let's call it about 35%, 35,000 Rand that you're going to make. Okay, does it make sense? Because if you look at a 2 million Rand property at 5%, it's 100,000. 71% of 100,000, 71,000 divided by 2 gives you 35,000 Rand. Does it make sense, Wilna?
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing for me now. Because 5%, according to me, is
50,000, but EXP makes maybe 71%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and brick and mortar companies takes 50%.
50%, you'd say. So you've already value your time by 1/4 already by working with the EXP model,
Mm.
compared to 50% when you work with a brick and mortar company.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, bear in mind, you've already got the buyer, you've already earned 20,000 Rand for the 4 days, 4 weeks, plus you sold one property. Okay, you're back to 91. How much effort did you put in to get that 91,000? Less.
A lot less, yeah. A lot
Mm.
less. Mm.
Okay, now in my team, let's say, for instance, I've got 20 agents in my team in my level. Okay, and Suzette says, Ron, I've got a nice property in Parklands. Have you got a buyer for me? I now work with Suzette at 50% of my commission because I'm leveraging my time working with Suzette and trying to get all the commission for myself. I would rather leverage with people who's got the leads that I can fill my funnel. Now I'm getting another, what's it, 17,500 out of that deal.
Mm.
Now I'm leveraging, but that's not all. Because Suzette and Wilna say is in my team as an example, I still get my revenue share.
Which depends on the level. Hey.
Correct. That depending on the level,
Mm.
but I need to save as well. So instead of saving my money in the bank, I'll save 5% of my commission I earn into NASDAQ, which I can now trade to build my wealth.
Mm.
Plus, if I sell, I've got money coming into my NASDAQ shares after my first property every year and the team below me and all the other benefits. I'm not going to go into all of that. I now creating myself valuable time. So now my time gives me time, money, and freedom by creating a passive income. So if you look at it in a sense, I earn from my bond origination by working smart. I work on the deal I've done. I get my 71% out of that 5%. I networked with my team below me with the buyers with using their stock I earn from. I earn from my revenue share. I earn from my NASDAQ. So I've already got 6 revenue streams by working smart. Okay.
Ron, can I ask you one question? Sorry.
Yeah.
If you share commission with somebody from another group, then you share your 71% with them. Hey,
No.
how much do you give them?
So if I want to share with the external real estate agent,
Yeah.
okay, and the commission is 100,000 Rand, the total commission.
Mm.
That company will get 50%, EXP will get 50%, and we'll get 71% of that 50%. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. So you got 50,000 Rand going to Piet Pompey's real estate.
Yeah.
50,000 Rand go to EXP, you get 71% of that 50,000 Rand. So
Oh, okay.
all right.
Okay.
So now that is one way of generating a passive income. But there's another problem that we face with as real estate agents. Okay. The first problem that we've got, I haven't got the money. Okay. because I need to pay for my car, I need to pay for my water and lights, I need to pay for my bond, I need to pay for whatever. The problem comes in because we don't value time, because we don't value ourselves. And let me explain to you what I'm talking about. I'm going to come back to the discussion where each other's strength is. If Vilna is strong in working in Kuils River, I'm just using that as an example, and I focus on buyers in Kuils River, I'm going to pass those leads to Vilna because she's already built a relationship with Vilna in Kuils River. Okay, instead of me trying to find and build up somebody in Kuils River and say, I'm going to shortcut myself. Vilna might have 10 properties, but I'm trying to short circuit. So I'm not valuing my time. So Zait, on the other hand, she's in developments. I would rather work through her and say, okay, this is how we can work with developments. And trying to spend my time trying to get the developer to get the mandate. So I'm spending an X amount of my time trying to get into the developments. So I just want to take a step back. All right. And the reason I want to mention this is I went yesterday on my phone and I clicked this button and it speaks about times used on your cell phone. Okay. Your weekly report. Have you ever done that?
Accidentally, yes.
Okay. Now, this is quite embarrassing. I spent 45 hours this week on social media. Now, what does that give me? How many hours are there in a day?
24.
Okay, how many working hours are there?
Supposed to be 8. If
Okay.
you want to have a balanced life, yeah.
Okay, which means I spent nearly 3 working days on social media.
5.
No. If I work 7 days a week at 45 hours and I put 10, it's 4.5 days I just spent on social media using the hours. All right, I'm just using that as an example. Yes, I spent 50% of that by creating marketing content. The other 50%, oh, let me see what happens on this TikTok. Let me see how many likes did I get on this? How many, okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you start bringing that time in and you spend it wisely, how much more leads can you generate using social media? By looking at, if you want to spend time on social media, use it into working for you. And I'll do a post on that. How do you generate income through social media and how to find buyers and sellers and using social media? But the point I'm saying is it could be Netflix, watching Netflix. So what I'm trying to say is if we work our time wisely, how much more money can we generate? We're using it. The other problem that we've got is I don't like cold calling. But I haven't got the money to pay somebody for cold calling. I'm just waiting for business to come in. Because we've got the mindset, I haven't got the money. But if we say, okay, I'm prepared to take out of my social media call, instead of watching 5 hours a day of social media, let me take 30 minutes in cold calling or just sending WhatsApp to 10 or 20 people. At least it becomes productive time. because we're so worried about what people is going to say. Or what about saying, okay, the three of us going to collaborate and say, I've got somebody who's going to phone. Vilna, have you got an extra 200 Rand? Suzette, have you got 200 Rand? Ron, have you got 200? Okay, we've got 600 Rand. We can now get money together to get maybe Louisa to do the phoning for us. That's just an example to phone. Because now we're looking at the ways and means. Because Ron's strength is, how do you find leads? Ron will look for the leads. He will then distribute to Vilna for Kelservie, Suzette to developers, finding the buyers, negotiating, and we're leveraging each other's time to create wealth. That you can get that buyer being pre-approved, getting that mandate to use other agents to sell, getting that one deal through, networking with the other deals, getting your revenue share, getting all of this. This is how you can start creating leverage by using your time in an EXP model to make money for you. Does it make sense? Any questions on that?
So it's a lot to absorb, but it makes total sense. We'll have to change our way of thinking.
Yeah, 100%. How much time do we spend on courses? How many times do we spend on things that we don't need? We need it, but we don't need it now.
Yeah, and how many times do you spend on things that doesn't actually happen?
Correct. So, but we learn and we grow. You know, the other way you can generate a passive income is just instead of spending, like I'm doing now, spending 45 hours a week on social media, why don't it take 1 hour every day, every Friday, and send out 100 newsletters? To my database. And ask each of them to send a newsletter out to 10 of their friends by creating a knowledge newsletter to build a relationship for the leads to flow back into your funnel, that we can put it back to the team and everybody leverages from. Think about it.
Just on that issue of a newsletter, will we then be working together to compile a newsletter?
You can compile your newsletter as a team, or you can compile a newsletter as a happy birthday wish to your network. Depending how you want to do those newsletters. Okay. We can create a monthly magazine with each one's information in there. So if Ron wants to create Ron creates a magazine, Vilna's got his page, Suzette's got her page, when everybody clicks with her email address in and goes into the funnel, that's her information she's using to generate that income, where she can link directly to the bond originator, linking to the property. But it might even be external businesses, which might be out of your EXP model or real estate business. Is how do you create that passive income that your value of money or your value of time generates you wealth? So to create that passive income while you're sitting on the beach without worrying to chase that the targets are chasing you. That business is chasing you. And how do I mention that? Is exactly what happened. I don't know if you heard this, Suzette, about creating my social media posts. Somebody reached out to me from America with you remember that one I put out with the olive tree and the pine tree? And it says, how can I get involved? They approached me, so I'm jumping on a call on Wednesday to explain the model.
That's great, yeah.
You see, because I put content in for creating information for people to follow to bring them in through Messenger, from Messenger into WhatsApp, to creating that income. It's the same as with another client, which I'm busy dealing with. He wants to know more. He's sitting in Newcastle. He's not in real estate, but he's in IT, but he wants to get in real estate, and he understands Google Analytics. And he says, I want to be part of this. I can use my skill set. Yeah. So those are things that you figure out what each one's strength is. It's not the model for everybody, but if you use the continuity program that was explained to me by Marion Goldman, it makes much more sense. So even if you charge for your newsletter $10 a month, okay, and you've got 1,000 people on your newsletter paying you $10 a month, how much have you got? The reason I didn't mention rands, as I mentioned dollars, because $10 everybody can afford all over the world, because it's your oyster. I'm just saying is, how do you create a continuity program to bring people in to work locally, nationally, and internationally to create a passive income to make your time valuable by working smart and not hard. Because I love my coffee shops. Because on that, I leverage my coffee shops to generate business. I picked up developments. I picked up sales. I picked up buyers. I picked up mandates. By connecting with people, by using my time while I'm enjoying coffee and using that as a valuable way of generating an income. Because time is not money. Because time is valuable as how you use it while you're enjoying your life.
Basically coming down to working smart, not hard.
Smart, not hard. So you can stay with a brick and mortar company, sell your time for an income, earn 50%, use 5, instead of working 2 hours a day, you have to work 6 hours a day to have the same revenue, but without a passive income. The choice is yours. What would you like to do going forward?
I foresee, Ron, that this might become the future model. I think it's very futuristic.
No, 100%. It's not about EXP. Let's just get at the other question. You can be cutting hair. I'm just using cutting hair. If you want to cut hair the rest of your life of having 10 clients, you have to work twice as hard or push your payment up, or your services up.
Or your overheads, for that matter.
Yeah, for your overheads.
Yeah.
But you're only going to have 10 clients. But if you got 10 quality agents doing exactly the same as what you are doing to help them grow, and you take 20% of every cut you've got, you're generating a passive income. Even if you take that newsletter out and tell them about the different cuts, the different conditions, the different ways and means, how to blow wave, and you start selling that as $10 as a newsletter or a program, you're creating a passive income. I'm just talking about cutting hair. Somebody might find it valuable. I'm in financial literacy. I know and I'm busy putting a program together on financial literacy, charging $25 on my program. And I've got 1,000 people paying me $25 every month.
Do you charge for your consultation fees?
Plus my consultation fee of $250. I'm doing a Zoom on the 26th of November to America, who invited me to speak to a group of people on Zoom because they found me on Facebook because of my financial literacy background. Use your strengths to leverage and make money.
Mm.
Because there's 4 points which I'm going to talk about next week. Implementation, unification, communication, and imagination to take you to the next level. So this was an intro on a workshop which we can stream out of to YouTube. Listen to it again. Let's comment on that. See how we can leverage and how we can help not just help us, but the team that wants to come with us in this team, that we can help each other grow. Because I want to finish off with 3 things. And that's the me, the we, and the us. First, look after me. Understand, because I'm the CEO, I'm the cleaner, I'm the secretary. The we is the people who believe in me, who then becomes a secretary, who will then invest in my dream, because you become the me to the we, and the us is the customers to grow all of us, to generate that passive income and having that multiple streams of income. So on that note, drop me a comment. Anybody listening on YouTube, subscribe and say, yes, I would like to know more. Thank you.